Good afternoon, racing fans, and welcome to a Thursday afternoon of Grand Circuit racing action here at the historic Red Mile as we kick off week 2 of Grand Circuit action. We're just 22 minutes from the Thursday opener. Live racing comes up at the top of the hour at 1 p.m. And if you do have your racing programs, we'll go through this afternoon's changes. This afternoon's first race is clear. Once again, the first race is clear. But we get to the second race, start of your 50-cent pick 5. We have a driver change on number 6 BL Class Act to Zachary Hires. Zachary Hires will drive number 6 BL Class Act in this afternoon's second race. Races 3 through 8 are clear. Note this afternoon's sixth race kicks off your $10,000 guaranteed pick 4, and the only changes in that pick 4 sequence come at the Thursday afternoon finale. Scratch number 2, Mass Fortune K, and number 5, Shake and Bake. Again, at the ninth and final race this afternoon, scratch numbers 2 and 5. And once again, good afternoon. Welcome aboard for a Thursday card here, week 2 of Grand Circuit action underway. I am Gabe Prewitt. I'm pleased to be joined by a very special guest here this afternoon. We've got Cimaglia in town with us. And Al, welcome here to week 2 of Grand Circuit racing action.
Great to be with you, Gabe. Always wanted to come to the Red Mile. This is my first time, and looking forward to the races.
Okay, and we are looking forward to diving in and handicapping this card this afternoon. We do want to pass along a couple of housekeeping notes here as well. We've got a total of 12 colts entered in that Kentucky Futurity on Sunday, going to be the highlight of closing day. They're actually going to go 2 heats, so we'll go one heat of 12. The top 10 will return for that Kentucky Futurity final, third leg of Trotting's Triple Crown. We did have 2 supplements in the Kentucky Futurity for Sunday afternoon, $50 bill and 6-pack. Both supplemental entries. The fillies actually going to split into 2 divisions for the first heat. 16 fillies have been entered. We did have a supplemented plunge blue chip as well. We're going to draw that Kentucky Futurity field prior to the 5th race here this afternoon. So stay tuned for that. Again, 12 colts entered in total in that Kentucky Futurity for closing day this Sunday afternoon. Now we've got some great racing action this weekend. We've got Lazarus in town. He'll be here with us in the All Rise on Saturday afternoon. But of course, we've got great racing here with us today. And talk to us about, before we dive into the handicapping action, a little bit about what you're doing now. You actually write for Express Bet, and you really come up with some great columns there. Not only some pick 4 selections and analysis, some great interviews as well.
Yeah, that's been going on for a little over a year. I write for Express Bet Thursday through Sunday. I try to usually give pick 4s. If there's Grand Circuit races or stakes action, I'll handicap those races. Try to give a pick 4 ticket most of the time, gives people more options to look at, and they could use the selections in different ways.
And you're in town checking out some of the yearlings, I know, of course, all the great racing action. You're from Chicago, obviously grew up around that circuit, but you've really done some great things covering the Chicago Blackhawks and things throughout your career as well. I know you were there for a number of the good seasons here of recent.
Yeah, I had 2, my father really got me into the hockey and to the horses. 2 big loves from when I was young. Hockey from when I was very young. Horses later on in life, though. But both are passions of mine, and I was able to be credentialed for 12 years through NHL radio to cover the Blackhawks. Saw a real nice run, and now I'm pretty much just focused on racing, which I enjoy a great deal.
All right, and maybe it's a downtime for Chicago sports fans. The Cubs. Are you Cubs or White Sox guy?
I'm a Cubs guy.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I won't touch that subject then after the last week. There are a couple of tough losses. So we'll move into tonight's card, or to this afternoon's card, rather, as we're looking very forward to some great action here this afternoon. We've got a wide open group here to kick it off. Late closing 2-year-old trotting fillies for the emission breed. Now we've got some young trotters here. We see sometimes they can be inconsistent, a bit in and out. How'd you see things shaking out in the opener?
I went to the 4 on top. I was impressed. They tried changing tactics last time. It was an aggressive try. Faded, but most of these horses have trouble passing, it seems like. So he held his position, closed in 28-2, or she held her position, closed in 28-2. So I'm going to steer away from the program chalk number 3, and I'm going to go 4, 5, 6 for my selection.
Okay, and I did go to the 6 for my top choice. Now, one thing that's interesting to point out, of course, this was an evening card last week, our first card of Grand Circuit racing. The track very tiring last week, so it was a sloppy track. We're going to see several horses come off that track. Your top selection, of course, one of those, Petra, who did try the lead, so maybe she is a bit better here on a faster strip this afternoon. And I'm going to go back to the 6, Eowyn, who, again, just sort of faltered there over the off-track last time out as well, but we know she is a bit better than that as well. We've got 2 amateur driving events on this afternoon's card. The Joe Holloway, in namesake of a race 2 here to kick off the 50-cent pick 5. And I know I'm on the 5 Natural Forces, a veteran with over $400,000 at the bank. You're on another veteran here in the 4 Supermaning.
Yeah, Joe Panaccio is a pretty good amateur driver, and I think the buildings that they were in at Saratoga a little bit too quick, 125 and 3 for the 3/4, and the gelding faded. But I think that this is a good spot for him to shine, and I go 4-2-3.
Okay, 4-2-3 for Allen race 2. I'm 5-4-3 there as we move on to the 3rd race. Late closing event here for the 2-year-old trotting fillies. And I know we're both on board here to the 4 Seaside Bliss. This was a filly that really finished up out with a lot of a great late trot here at her most recent effort.
56 and 3 for the last half was pretty impressive. Has faced better at Poconos and Meadows. Was a nice close, and I'll close the number 6. So I'll stick with her on top, and I'll go 4-6-5.
Okay, and we're ice cold together on that exact 4-6-2 for me in this afternoon's 3rd race. 2nd amateur event on the cards up at the 4th race, named in honor of Linda Toscano, another 2019 Hall of Fame inductee, along with Joe Holloway. And we're back here with the 6 Keegan Ho, 3rd start off the shelf. He's really been taking on some tough company out of late up at Yonkers.
Yeah, he shows a 54 and 3 mile at the Meadowlands. I think this gelding rates an edge over everyone else, and I'm going 6-7-1.
Okay, and I'm 6-7-5 there, so another ice-cold exacta is running aboard with a couple of the more formful choices in race 4. We've got first of 3 stakes events up in this afternoon's 5th race. It's the Trixton International Stallion Stake here, and we've got a good group. Al, I have to mention last week, number 3, Chin Chin Hall. He was my long shot of the night, really put in a good effort there to win at 14-1. I like that effort. 3rd start of his career here tonight. Peter Wren, Melanie Wren, the trainer. It looks to be a very talented son of Cash Hall.
Yeah, that horse rates high on my figures too. I went with number 2 on top, far back early, big brush around the turn, and then got nipped or got caught. I think that this could be a better effort tonight, and I go 2-3-5.
Okay, and Al's going to try Hudson River potentially to turn the tables on number 3, Chin Chin Hall, in this afternoon's 5th race. 6th race kicks off that pick 4. This is the Sweet Lou late closing event, $10,000 guaranteed pool. We were well in excess of those guarantees. Late in the week, last week, we bet over $16,000 on Saturday, well over $17,000 on Sunday. So hopefully, Al, we'll see another big pool here. It seems to be a bit of a wide open group here to kick it off. I know we're both steering clear of the morning line favorite, at least the 4 Cash Reward. How'd you see things here to kick off the pick 4?
I was impressed with Sweet Diamond. Used a couple of times and got caught, beaten favorite. And I think the horse that beat her that day, Darn Tootin' Hanover, was just too good. She had a nice brush. I look for her to be in position and to get the job done today. And then I go to the 1 looking for a little bit of a price, and the 3.
Okay, so 6-1 there. I'm on the 3 Storm Survivor. Philly that was maybe a bit disappointing here last time out, but I'm hoping she steps it up again. That track well off last Thursday night, so we'll see if she can elevate her game here for the Connections. Trader Chris Oakes, driver Brian Sears. I think either way, it's a pretty wide open race there to kick off the pick 4. And we move into the 7th race stake event. I'm going here for maybe one of my biggest upsets of the day. I'm on the number 2, Sheeta's Boy. We see a lot of these Oka Sponstead trainees really seem to step up their game when they arrive with us here in Lexington. This guy he's still tinkering with. He added hobbles part of the last start. I thought it was a much better effort. He put in an aggressive bid there with the first over attack. So in a wide open affair, I'm going to give the slight edge here to a big long shot in this afternoon's 7th race. That's a 2, Sheeta's Boy. I know you're going to try and pull off a bit of an upset as well, and you're to the 5 Brady Bunch. Yeah,
this is a nice race to bet. I like the 5. It was used hard, showed some life at the 8th pole, and came on again. So I think Marcus Miller should have this horse in position. I think he could step up off that effort. I like the 3 from the standpoint was off 26 days. I feel that colt should be better tonight, and then I'll round it out with the 8, who came a pretty decent last half and could pass some horses late.
He did and was placed first there at that last event for the biggest win of his career. And the 3 Demon on the Hill, that's a very sharp note that you pointed out there, Al. He would miss 26 days part of that last start, so we can't be too hard on him. And I know you caught that replay as well. He had a bit of traffic trouble. It seemed in the stretch, really never got out, so maybe a more aggressive steer coming here today as well.
Yeah, I think Sears will have him in good position, and he could be sitting on a big try.
Okay, 8th race today is going to kick off the late double for this afternoon's card. And how about the 3 Caviar Darling? I'm going to try a bit of an upset here with this filly making her 2nd career start. She's a daughter of Captain Treacherous. She's out of that great mare, Darlin's Delight. Really hadn't shown that much out in the qualifiers leading up to that career debut here last week, but she just exploded late, and she was beaten less than a length there at 32-1, and we're not going to get that big of a number here this afternoon, but she could very likely be the 3rd choice back there to the 2 favorites in race 8. So I'm going to try Caviar Darling really to take another step forward, yet another daughter of Captain Treacherous that seems to have a big engine here in race 8.
I used the 3 in the 3rd spot, but all good points. Good step up off that effort, was a very nice try. I put the 5 on top. He tried to put her in a hole early. She looked a bit hot, came on in the stretch, and was still good to the wire, although Nip lost by a length. I think she could step up a bit off that effort, so I went 5-1. I put the chalk second. I'm looking to beat the chalk, the 1 horse 7-5, 5-1-3.
Okay, and then I agree with you. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of difference between the 1 Carousel, the 5 Izzy Hanover, but Carousel, much shorter price last time, did get the job done, but a much, much better trip in that mile as well. 9th race here, our only scratches on this afternoon's program. If you're just arriving or just joining us here this afternoon, scratch numbers 2 and 5 here in the finale for the card. We're ice cold here together. We've got a couple of talented colts hooking up here, Al. The 1 Cantab Fashion, the 9 Green Manalishi. They couldn't have looked any better here last week.
No, the horse is, that colt is a monster. Very, very nice horse. And really, the front end was kind of dull, as you mentioned before, and she took everything in stride, held position, and closed in 28 seconds. If she was further inside, I would put her on top. But I'm thinking the 1 is no slouch, and 55-2 last half, and gets David Miller again and an inside starting spot. So I'm going to look for a bit of an upset and call it 1-9, and then I'm going to look to a horse that's making second start on Lasix and look to spice up the exotics a little bit with the 8.
Okay, and I'm on board there with you, 198. Can't Have Fashion, our top choice there in the finale. Yeah, that's definitely a colt that has proven now with that big stakes win here last week that he can hold his own at the very top level. So, Al, we appreciate it. Keep up the great work on Express Bet. It was absolutely great having you on here this afternoon. We are quickly approaching post time for week 2 of Grand Circuit Racing here at the Red Mile. We wish you the best of luck here this afternoon. They'll be on the track shortly for the opener.